What's happening, good people? Welcome to this special edition, Black Power Media. We wanted to start this quote unquote new year on the Gregorian calendar off the right way. So we wanted to kind of bring folks almost do a retro. When I say a retro, it's not really retro, but over the past week, we've had, for many of you who have checked out the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, presented by the Imam Jamil Action Network. Had a number of different really cool films and panels and discussions, and I believe like 6 different cities, if I'm not mistaken, 5 to 6 different cities around the country. And we wanted to bring some of the organizers on board today to talk about what the experience was like, what the film festival was for, who it was dedicated to, and pretty much, what they got out of the particular program. I look at it as many of you will, as a form of political education. And political education is necessary, of course, because we need to know what side of the barricades we're on if we're going to be involved in this protracted struggle. So we're going to pause for the cause real quick, and I'm going to come back with a few good people from around the country. And you are checking us out live today, Black Power Media, on this Revolutionary Day, because today we commemorate Haiti. We commemorate the Haitian Revolution, and how Dessalines declared, Haiti a republic today on this great day. We also commemorate the Cuban Revolution with our man Fidel and the freedom fighters over there who knocked Batista out the box and, got folks on the right side of history. There's also, before I jet off, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of the losses over the past week. We know that Walia Jamal transitioned, who is the wife of Mumia Abu Jamal, who you've seen on this platform numerous times. So we want to send our condolences out to Mumia and his family. We also another brother by the name of Delani Aman. He was a pioneer in internet radio. In fact, I had my first radio show on his platform going back to, I believe, 2006. And he was a great brother. He's made this transition. Of course, a lot of different people in entertainment and sports, from the great Pele to Anita Pointer, and one of the state's most respected propagandists, Barbara Walters, also transitioned as well. So, we're just making those acknowledgments, but we're going to be right back with you right here on Black Power Media. We got a whole lot coming up, so stay tuned. We here. Okay, good people, what's happening? Black Power Media in the building. We have a whole lot of great folks here today. If you all don't mind, we'll get it started off. We see Bob Bilal down at the bottom. Folks on here looking like the Brady Bunch, but it's all good. We packing them in today. We're packing them in, and we're gonna have a good time at the same time. I guess what we can do is start off clockwise with introductions from folks, and you tell us where you're located and who you are, if you don't mind. Start with Brother Lakeem.
Peace and love, family. This is Lakeem Wimborne Bay, representing Imam Jamil Action Network, Atlanta, and grateful to be in the space with you all. Thank you.
Diane.
Oh, hello, everyone. My name is Diane Mathowitz. I'm also in Atlanta, and with several other folks on this call or this screen. We're all part of the Imam Jamil Action Network in Atlanta. Glad to be here.
Yes, good to see you. Yes, Trent, we going clockwise, folks.
Excuse me, I apologize. My name is Trent Smith. I'm representing the New Orleans, Louisiana. I really appreciate you allowing us to do our thing on your platform. We represent Bar None, a prison reform organization out here, and really look forward to this episode.
Yes, appreciate you all coming on. We can start with Dr. Adia, go across, and then come back around if you're cool with that.
Peace, everyone. I'm Dr. Adia Winfrey, Executive Director and co-founder of Transform Alabama. We are a civic engagement, education, and mobilization organization that uses hip-hop-based strategies and also bringing the intergenerational piece to the work. So happy to be here and happy to work with all of you.
Right on. Naeem?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Walid Naeem ibn Rafiq Mujahid. I am the Na'ib al-Amir of Jama'at al-Asr in Arcadia, Florida. I am also the Director of Action Alliance and a member of the Imam Jamil Action Network and the New Doubt Islam movement. I am happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Glad that you can make it, Brother Munir.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. My name is Munir Abdul Hakim. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. I work with Muslims for Social Justice, Black Workers for Justice, and the COINTELPRO coalition to release the COINTELPRO documents and for the passage of the bill 2988 that was presented by Rep. Bobby Rush. And yeah, that's it. I'm glad to be here. Assalamu alaikum and Happy New Year to everybody.
Alaikum salam. Good to see you as well, brother. Brother Skari.
Good to be on here today.
We can't hear you at all. Something with your sound, brother.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Skari Wawatu out of Greenville, North Carolina, representing Mapinduzi. What's good with everybody? Glad to be on here today.
Right on. And Baba Ali Baba. Ma'am Ali Baba, are you with us?
I think he's on mute.
He's on mute. You're on mute, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I'm Imam Ali Baba Lumumba from Arcadia, Florida. Imam of Jama'at al-Asr. I'm presently in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. Right on. Glad you can join us today. Okay, so we have a few other folks. I know it's a packed house today, but we're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna get it started with Lakeem because I don't see Baba Bilal or Sister Shafi on deck. So if you don't mind, Lakeem, you're no stranger to the platform. You've been here several times. You gave me a couple of these gray hairs that I have. So I'll get it started with you. Wanted to know what is this? Explain to the folks what the Freedom Fighter Film Festival is about, and your role and why you got involved.
And so, assalamu alaikum, everybody. And glad you're here. And just to start off, if anything that I say is good or great or accurate or true, it's from Allah. And if anything is in error, that's from me. That's my human side. And I ask Allah and you all for forgiveness now. And I'll just say that I'll do my best. This Freedom Fighters Film Festival and others, please, add on. And here's Sister Shafia. But the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, the purpose is for specifically raise the importance of the Black Belt South, what we know as the Black Belt South, to our liberation movement, to raise the awareness around figures like Imam Jamil, Ella Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer, Malcolm X, Haj Malik El-Shabazz, and their role in the South and its importance. We also obviously want to, as you mentioned earlier, this is a form of political education, raising the awareness, using these names to heighten the struggle, using these names to move our struggle forward, and to put forth and let people know what has happened and what can happen. The Black Belt South has been integral to our liberation struggle, and even leading by and large, and that's kind of lost. And so that was a part of what this film festival was here to do, was to make sure that we all get to understand that and know that, and then continue showing like what we're all doing in our different spaces and how we can keep moving forward. And so I'm going to pause here since the Sister Shafi is here, and have her go ahead and give the rest of the details on the purpose of the Freedom Fighters Film Festival.
Okay, right up.
Thank you, Lakeem. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I ask Allah to guide my tongue, guide my heart. I apologize. I'm for some reason having problems with my camera today. Haven't had that trouble before. And if Lakeem hasn't thanked Brother Kalanji and Black Power Media for the opportunity to be on this platform and to really help build movement, I'd like to express that. Also expressing condolences to Brother Mumia and his family for his loss. It's one thing to, he's been struggling all this long time, and to go through all of this, the family to go through all this is just, at the height of the the evilness of the oppressor. As Brother Lakeem said, the purpose of the film festival was to highlight the local struggles that are going on. Young people have asked, why didn't y'all fight back? I've heard that. And so what we wanting to do is to highlight the local struggles that people are waging across the South, especially because that's where the majority of our people are. That's where the Black Belt is our homeland. But also to show the commonalities in the struggles across the South, and how, while we might be thinking that our local area is probably the worst in conditions, we're seeing that there are conditions that are very similar. Also to show the kind of work that our political prisoners were engaged in before the state snatched them from their communities and from their organizations. We wanted many times the state's propaganda, most of the time, tries to project folks as wild crazies. And no, they were doing the kinds of work that the folks that we are showcasing, that we have highlighted this week. And then also to show the commonalities or the particular nature of the South, how it's so crucial within the Black liberation movement as well as the global South. And that we have Black strategists and influencers, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, Fannie Lou Hamer, Ella Baker, and of course, Haj Malik El-Shabazz. We look at Nelson Mandela and other freedom fighters around the world, and sometimes we overlook our folks. And so we wanted to lift up the kinds of strategic and tactical issues and questions that all of them raised, and how those are still questions that we are working on and working around, and principles that we're working on and working around today, principles that exist today.
And thank you. Gratitude for adding on. Baba Bilal, you with us? Baba Bilal, can you hear us?
Well, I'm trying my best to be with you. I find myself being thrown backstage, and sometimes in the chat room I can't get out the chat room. But I'm here right now, and just want to say, you know, glad to be here, and glad that everyone is filling in, as I was not able to come on, and so far, uh, just want to reemphasize that this started as a continuation of had political education for education for the public. Festival, the Black Alumni Festival, is something that takes place every September. A film festival, a lot of people, starting off from the time that we were planning the Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee 2 years ago, that they had finally added Lowndes County and added Whitehall to the scene, and it's supposed to be celebrating black voting rights, the Black voting rights movement, but the Black voting rights movement can't be celebrated, can't be honored if you don't recognize Lowndes County, because in Lowndes
Bilau's fading in and out. I don't know if he can hear.
So just checking in with him and following up. And Lowndes County was one of the hearts of struggles around Black political power in the 1960s, independent Black political power, as well as the questions of self-defense, Black self-defense, self-determination, independent Black politics. And so there were a number of lessons that were being built by the Lowndes County Freedom Democratic Party, the organizing of it, and that seemed to have been lost over the years about this issue of being independent Black power and being accountable to our community. And so with Lowndes County being added as part of the Selma Jubilee, it was an opportunity for folks in Whitehall and in other parts of the county for that historical value to come forward, those lessons to be shared with the world. So I think that that was one of the things that we wanted to bring forward, and we're really glad that we got folks from Sister Dr. Adia Winfrey with Transform Alabama out of Talladega. That's not Lowndes County, but between there and Sister Sukari and Jemson, Sister Nina Morgan in Birmingham, Sister Synovia in Birmingham, we had a whole team that was bringing forward, the struggles in Birmingham. So that's kind of like we wanted to show those struggles forward.
Yeah, you mentioned Dr. Dear. Definitely shout out to Dr. Dear. We had the opportunity to join her at the Summer Jubilee Bridge Crossing. In fact, I had the honor of hosting one of the events there. Dr. Dear, being in Alabama, which is, of course, when you talk about the heat, when you talk about freedom fighters and revolution, you think of places like Mississippi and Alabama in particular, because, of course, Louisiana, South Carolina, really the 5 states, Georgia, the whole 9. But one thing about Alabama, we know it's rough waters, right? How have you been able to connect from your learning through, folks like Baba Bilal and Mama Shafi and others? How were you able to connect the Selma Jubilee situation to not only Lowndes County, but the whole Freedom Fighter Film Festival. How did that come about for you, and what did it mean to you?
Well, I have to take it a step back, which you may not know this, Kalanji, but this is like the perfect segue, the way everything went. Part of the reason why we even founded Transform Alabama in 2020 is because of some newspaper articles that you sent me from like 1965 that laid out what was going on in Lowndes County at that time. And so some people we had been working with just educating ourselves and learning about the role that Alabama played in the freedom struggle. But when we got those newspaper articles that you sent, that just opened our eyes up to the role that Alabama played, and also caused us to ask questions about why we didn't know. We all lived in Alabama. Many of the people that were on my team were from Alabama, had never lived anywhere but the state, and had no idea about the Lowndes County Freedom Party. And so through our understanding and our learning, and Baba Bilal coming into the picture, once I got on the Selma Jubilee board, it just started putting all the pieces together. So as we were learning from him, again, learning from you, and just reading and getting the narratives from the foot soldiers, it in real time is equipping us for the movement that's going on right now. One of our biggest obstacles I feel in Alabama is us not knowing who we really are, and that is by design. And so this Freedom Fighters Film Festival has been awesome, because the films that we chose, the clips that we chose, really put the heart and soul of who our people are on the forefront. And I just really believe that the more that we learn about who we truly are, the more powerful that we become in our organizing, because we see that we don't necessarily need all the bells and whistles. And really, some of the bells and whistles are hindrances to us. And when we see what our people were able to do, particularly in Lowndes County, it just really is great inspiration. So I definitely always thank you, Kalanji, for sharing that information with me, and Baba Bilal for the information he shares, Sister Shafia, Mama Sukari, who has just been amazing, and she sends her love, as well as Nina, on this journey.
Well, I thank you. I didn't know what you just said.
I
So
figured you didn't. No, you were key. Like literally, you have been key in the formation of Transform Alabama. Those articles, and you probably don't even remember it, but you sent me some newspaper articles from 1965, and it just was like that missing piece. And when we got that, we just kind of went down the rabbit hole and just started researching, and all this came from that.
Well, I am honored, and I'm grateful, because I know that you are a great organizer. I've seen your work, so that's a beautiful thing. So thank you for even checking it out and moving it forward, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what political education is about. That's what revolution is about, right? Continuing to transform. My main man, Trent, straight out of New Orleans.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, brother. I'm not gonna crack no jokes today, since Baba Bilal.
Be yourself. Be yourself, brother.
Be myself. Okay. No. In Louisiana, of course, I had the opportunity to organize with you and your wife Sunny, and the children, so on and so forth. Like pretty much everybody on this panel, we family, right?
Yes, indeed.
What have you gotten out of this? Because here it is, you're in New Orleans, and we know it's rich culture out there. We know that it's resistance out there. Desire projects. What went on with the Jamalo Fest? What's the name of the piece out there?
Oh, say that again. Which fest?
Was it the Jamalo?
No, the Juan Malo. The Juan Malo Fest. Yes.
I'm messing it up. Yeah.
Yes, he was the. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Juan St. Malo was actually a Maroon, the famous Maroon that actually spent well over 30 years with both the French and Spaniards chasing after him. He held the biggest Maroon village in the state of New Orleans, and we celebrate that every year, June 19th. that's what you're making reference of. That's what he Kalanji came down for, and man, it was so beautiful, and we appreciate him for it. That was actually your first. Satellite interview, right?
That was, but we
Yeah.
didn't give you no extra credit for our work though. But anyway, I must. No, yeah, no, that was our first road piece with
right. But back to your question, you know, the one thing, due to unforeseen circumstances here in New Orleans, we weren't able to be a major part, or hardly any part, in the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, which I apologize for. But regardless of it, the concept itself was an inspiration for us to further push what we're doing down here, which is a series. It's called the We Outside series, which is basically putting the neighbor back in neighborhood, bringing the people back together in our communities. Because as many of you may know, New Orleans had one of the highest murder rates in the country this year. And, you know, a large portion of that is the lack of political education and a lack of education amongst the youth. And so the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, the purpose for that is to educate through film the struggles that we're going through as a people, and we've gone through, and so the concept itself pushed us further to do this movement, which for the local perspective of the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, each day we went to a different park in the city, and we celebrated Kwanzaa through that concept. There was an average of 15-20 families that came in and participated and became a part of it. And the beauty of it is there were a lot of people that showed up that knew very little about Kwanzaa. So they was coming for the purpose of learning about the history and the culture within itself. So it was a beautiful thing, and it was because of this film festival that pushed us to do what we do. In fact, starting January 15th and 16th, we're gonna do video, and we're gonna do 2 video installments with Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Jo Baker, for the for Martin Luther King celebration. And every month we're going to do a political education class, and celebrate the different different how do you say it, the different perspectives from each one of those great women, and what we've learned from them, and that's also due because I know Fannie Lou Hamer was a prime subject of this particular event as well. So it gave us a lot of inspiration, and we really appreciate you all for it.
No doubt, definitely appreciate you all's consistency down in New Orleans. I'm gonna for folks that's checking us out that are backstage and that are on YouTube, make sure you share what it is you're watching right now. Let the folks know that we're on right now, live on Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, of course, and I believe Twitch. So make sure you share that. But also, we have a whole host of others in the back that we'll be bringing on shortly. We're going to speak to the folks here for a while longer because we want to get some perspective from everyone. I figured it'd be better than having 30 people on the screen. So we're going to work that out. Diane Mathowitz, she's a longtime organizer here in Atlanta, and I've officially stated on numerous occasions that Diane is the most organized organizer that I know. We could be having rallies, protests, we about to fight the police, whatever. She got the equipment. So, I mean, if you need a staple gun or, you know, like, man, we don't have a banner. She just so happened to have a banner with whatever the name of the event is on that particular day, you know. So I'm definitely grateful to have you on from WRFG in Atlanta. What was your experience like with the film festival? I know that you've been on the committee, the Imam Jamil Action Network, as well as others for decades. What was your experience like with this film festival, and what did it mean to you as an organizer?
Thanks for that introduction. I think it's what everybody should be doing, so I don't think that's so special about me. But nevertheless, I think the thing that the festival did, again, I think it helps groups to try to, one, do something collectively, all in the same period of time, with sort of the same focus. And so sometimes, you know, it's hard to figure out what to do next. And so this was really a great opportunity, I think, for IJAN. And several members of the Atlanta IJAN are also, what do we call, air shifters. In other words, they have programs on our community radio station, WRFG 89.3 FM. And I'm one of those as well. And so what that meant is that we collaborate with the radio station that has a progressive, anti-racist, pro-liberation mission to it. And that allows us to both do events in the space that the radio station has. Moreover, they publicize the event a lot. And then it brings in other organizations as well. So I think that was one thing that was really a plus about the idea of doing this Freedom Fighter Festival. We did have technical difficulties, but the amazing thing is that everybody was more than cooperative and willing to wait to see the films that we were screening, and were most appreciative of the event. And then I think the other thing that was so impressive and important to me, and I think all of us, was that the age range went from actual babies in a lap to elders, including activists who've been in the struggle for decades, and including Mabel Thomas, who is a well-renowned activist and former state representative, who also came to our event. And so it was this interesting mix of people who were really learning things for the first time, or maybe deepening their knowledge. Maybe they'd heard the names, and along with people who may have marched with or been in the same space with some of the folks that the films were about. So I think IJAN, and I know WRFG, is very encouraged about this collaboration, and that it's the idea of using film and other forms of culture to make sure that people are not just aware, but take into their selves, their soul, the idea of resistance, that resistance can win, that struggle makes difference, and that every individual makes a difference. So I think that was one of the pluses that I felt about the festival that took place in Atlanta. And thank you for the time.
No doubt, right on. No, definitely appreciate you sharing. I want to ask Mama Shafia real quick. You know, folks mentioned Ella Baker, they mentioned Fannie Lou Hamer, and others. These are names that we also have heard. Most presenters mentioned. Who are these women for folks who are just falling onto the planet and may not be familiar with Ella Baker? They may not be familiar with Fannie Lou Hamer. Who are they to you? What do they mean to you, and how does that work into your work as an activist or freedom fighter?
Fannie Lou Hamer was a sister who was a sharecropper in Mississippi, who was always concerned about her community and always standing up for justice and assisting folks in the community. And when the workers from the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee came through Mississippi in the early 60s, she eagerly joined with them and became a real spokesperson for folks in Mississippi. She was a leader in helping to organize the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, as well as organizing the Freedom Summer, where the community and workers set up freedom schools in the churches because the Mississippi government would not desegregate schools. They would shut down rather than allow desegregation of the schools. And then they began organizing around voter registration, and not just simply for voter register, just to vote to say to vote, but also to really begin to try to wield power to change the conditions of their lives in Mississippi. And they realized that they needed to build an organization in order to do that. And that's where Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party came out with, and a lot of people don't know that the symbol from the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party was a panther, the Black Panther. And some folks up in Oakland and some years later, Oakland, California took that symbol and ran with it. And then we know now as the Black Panther Party. But Sister Fannie Lou Hamer was an organizer or a spokesperson in her church, in the community before SNCC and after SNCC, and was really throughout the rest of her life, someone who spoke about the needs of the people and helped to organize around that. And she faced a lot of retribution, both physically, economically, from the landowners in Mississippi. Ella Baker was an organizer since the 1940s, from the 1940s, working first with the NAACP. Then she became, she was a field organizer at a time where to be a member of a card-carrying member of the NAACP was virtually a death sentence in town across the South. And she lived in New York, but she was carried the South. And so she would travel from town to town many times at night because she could not be seen during the day, and meeting with folks and building chapters of the NAACP. She later on became executive director of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. A lot of folks don't know that, dealing with all those Black preachers, corralling them. And then she was, folks, I guess, could look at her as the godmother of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, when young people began coming south and organizing. They wanted to be more effective, and they ran up on and disagreed with and ran up on the tactics that SCLC and NAACP were primarily dealing with, just the laws in court. They wanted to get in the street, deal with the people, help the people come forward. And they did not have any organization to do that. And so she helped them organize a founding gathering at Shaw University in Raleigh, and just help them make decisions about form something called the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And that's where students and other youth came south and worked on voter registration, mass campaigns, helping folks organize across the South. She was not only about the question of independent Black political power, but also she stood for international solidarity, standing with the people of Puerto Rico and Cuba, spoke out against the Vietnam War. So she was a real force to be reckoned with throughout her life. And so she was always someone who was in the background. And for me, I like that kind of I really respect that role that she played in pushing the people forward, helping to build organization, and she saw organization as the key for us being able to really make change. Is like when we want to accomplish something, that we need to be organized and have clear purpose in a program, and she was about that.
Right on. We appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. I know that Dr. D, I know you have to jet soon. And I know Trent has a flight. That's an inside joke. For what are some takeaways, from the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, and also even what Mom Shafia was talking about when she was talking about Ella Baker and Fannie Lou Hamer, you being a organizer, freedom fighter in the Alabama area, and coming off the hills of this Freedom Fighters Film Festival. What are some of the takeaways, and what are some things that you can do to enhance and reinforce Transform Alabama? I'm sorry.
We're gonna speak it into existence. We coming. But
okay.
Yeah, so for the Alabama filming of the Freedom Fighters Film Festival, we partnered with a community homeschool, and it was really amazing because there were students there were elders, and we were able to engage in dialogue. And so the organizers in Alabama, what we really walked away with is that this is the beginning of something that we need to keep going. The organizers of the school have invited us back, and we're working now on coming up with a plan of action to where what we started and organized for this one event can grow and continue on to something else. So really, it's just been inspirational, but also because our day was unity, we wanted to really live that out. Like, what does it look like if we unite our different communities? Because we are in different parts of the state, but we share a lot of commonalities. So as we move forward with Transform Alabama, we will continue to partner with other organizers, and again, continue to show these films. That was one thing that we all really appreciated, the focus on Alabama, specifically on Lowndes County. And so, we want to keep these films going and taking the opportunity to share them with young people. Additionally, I am still a member of the Selma Jubilee Board. And so, as we plan for 2023, which the dates are March the 2nd to March the 5th, me finding ways that we can use these films or use this experience to keep this going. I know that on that Monday, which I believe is March the 6th, there will be a slow ride from Selma to Montgomery, which the majority of that ride will be going through Lowndes County. So if anyone is interested in learning more or potentially partnering, just let me know. Because again, for us here in Alabama, it's getting the word out about who we are and what we did. We often hear about, Dr. King and all the other big names, but it was the local organizers and everyday people who were the power behind that movement. And so we are the descendants of those people. And a lot of those folks are still with us today. So I'm just getting the word out and sharing this great information.
Right on. Definitely appreciate you. Appreciate the great work you're doing in Alabama and beyond. And it's definitely beyond. We did a Malcolm X hip hop piece out here some months ago in regards to Malcolm. So so we definitely appreciate your consistency and keeping the movement moving. Be safe out there. We will catch you in the whirlwind. Take it easy. Thanks for joining us. Trent, same question to you, my man. What are some of the takeaways? I know you even though you, like you said, you didn't pull that particular piece off this round, but you have more work coming up, and you absolutely participated in what was going on in the planning here. What are some of the takeaways that you got, and what are some things that you think you all can incorporate in New Orleans?
Well, to backpack off Dr. Winfrey, one of the things that I appreciated about this was the bridging the gap, or merging the different organizations together to come in as one, because they realize that there's only one way that we can do what we're doing, and that's together. So, you know, it's the fact that the IJAN had opened their arms to all different organizations that's willing to willing to fight against oppression and fight for our people. You know, that was one of the things that I had taken away from it. I've also taken, like I've said earlier, the idea of getting out these movies and documentaries about our leaders and the people that we respect, and educating our children with them. And what we've done because of this is, me and the Sister Tueri and a couple of brothers and sisters down here in the city, we've gotten together and actually came to a conclusion that we have to be consistent in doing these types of events and festivals, and we plan on having at least one a month, followed by a political education class, just so the people that are viewing these movies and documentaries won't just walk away with the mindset of, oh, that was a great movie, and then going about their lives. There has to be something behind it once they see it, and see why the struggle, why these great men and women stood up to fight against oppression, and you know, to educate them further on what needs to be done. There's a lot of people that sat on the background. You know, for example, after Martin Luther King died, you know, they just sat back. They just sat on the side and said, well, you know, we're just going to run with what dream he had left before they killed him, and let it be it. But the struggle's still there. And, you know, these films is a reminder to each and every one of us that the struggle hasn't gone anywhere. Some of our leaders may have crossed over, but the struggle's still here. So you know, that's what I took from this particular event, and I look forward to working with IJAN and the many other organizations that were participants in this event. I look forward to working with them further.
Right on. Definitely appreciate you, brother, for your work and your consistency, and always being a humble brother, and a brother who's down to be a team player, because I think that oftentimes folks forget about the team player side, and they like the front of the camera, you know, and the accolades, but you're someone that I can speak for, co-sign, and say that, you know, when the work is there, you're down to do the work, regardless of whether they skywrite your name or you're anonymous. So definitely appreciate that. Love to you and the family.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you soon. Feel free to stick around backstage. We're going to rotate in a second. So
yes, sir.
Definitely, like I said, you know, we'll talk to you in a minute.
Yes. Well, Angie, if it's possible, I just want to jump on something both of you talked about, and that ip of team. One of the things that was like really gratifying, really uplifting, and was about the movement building side of it, where different areas were cheering each other on. Alabama was like, "Go ahead, Atlanta! You know, we see you. You know, the program was great." Or, you know, Alabama or Atlanta, you know, cheering Florida on. Y'all can do it. Y'all can do it. And Florida, man, they just backed everybody up. And so it was like movement building from practice, movement building by doing, and really building relations between organizations and individuals, and based on the work that we were doing. And it was, I think it was a really a real qualitative leap in building relations and organizations, seeing the commonalities between each other and cheering and creating the ligaments between the muscles.
Right on, right on. Definitely. I appreciate that feedback as well. We're going to be rotating a little bit because we have 8 million people backstage. Bob Bilal, you back again? You good? We're gonna catch Bob Bilal. Brother Ascari, you're operating.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the chat room. I can't get out the chat room. So
we looking at
I
you,
don't
but
know if you can see me, but yeah.
We see you, but I don't know. I think you delayed a little bit, but it's all good. We still rocking with you. We're gonna try to get those technicals together for you. In the meantime, Brother Ascari out of Greenville, North Carolina. First and foremost, for folks who are unaware of the organization you represent, of course, we know some of the good people out there in Greenville that's been fighting cases and doing that work. First and foremost, tell us a little bit about who you are and the organization you represent, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so what's good, y'all? My name Yusuf Ascari Wawatu, go by Ascari. You feel me? From Greenville, North Carolina, represent Mapinduzi, which is Swahili for revolution. We try to mirror ourselves after all of the prominent Black liberation organizations, things, like Black Liberation Army, Black Panther Party, things of that nature. And we also got two comrades that have been featured too that have been fighting cases relentlessly. We got Daydan, Wawa Kiri, and Anisha Rogers, who've been fighting against state and oppression. You feel me? We even had some members that have been targeted by the police and the state for other things on the low. You do what I'm saying? But that's just what happened when you fight against capitalism and colonialism. That's just what it is out there in Greenville. So we really focusing on aspects of community control. We focusing on aspects of revolution and what that means for not only Africans, Black people, but all colonized people, things of that nature. So yeah, we out there in Eastern North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina.
Okay, you look like one of the eldest members on the panel. What are some of the things that you learned? Because I know if you I know the pedigree and the stock you come from out there in Greenville. What are some of the things you learned during this Freedom Fighters Film Festival? And what are some things you could take back to your organization?
Man, I've learned a lot for real, but really just like, I don't know, it just like this whole thing really done solidified, some of our positions on things like, for example, the film on Malcolm X is learning about our human rights, and not only that, but tied it into the American poverty in the South, being in Lowndes County, Alabama, because here in the South, like we face similar conditions as like our Black and African family up in the North, but it's just the different level of oppression that goes unnoticed, like the poverty in the South. You feel what I'm saying? So it really kind of like just solidified like our position on that. Our cause is a human rights cause, but really it's a national cause. You feel what I'm saying? Like just learning the struggles of our freedom fighters. It is really like, for me personally, I can speak on myself. It's just like more motivation to know, like, those came before me was fighting for like that question of self-determination, for human rights and human decency and things of that nature. So for us, we want to take that and apply those same struggles and lessons in Greenville, North Carolina, especially with most of them people really being from like, rural southern areas, trying to organize in them areas and things like that nature. Because, we that's just what we face food insecurity. We face contamination of water. We face straight outright pig police brutality. Our chief of police in Greenville, we make a joke and call him Ted Bull Connor Sauls. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just real. So yeah.
I want to make one correction for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not our chief of police, their chief of police.
Their chief of police. Yeah, you got me on that one. Their chief of police.
I want to make sure we're on the right side before we go any further.
That's right.
Yeah, but for sure. That was definitely
right on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
No doubt, no doubt. But definitely, you know, I see the work. We've had both the comrades on our platform fighting their cases, and you know, we definitely appreciate, you know, the work that you all are putting in there, especially as young folks. You know, that right there is powerful. You know what I mean? A lot of folks look at me like I'm young, and I'm not. I have children older than you, but the beauty of it is just seeing that that it's not stopping, because you get so many folks talking silly, talking about they're not their grandparents and all of that. And I had to tell one brother out here one day was popping this, we ain't like y'all, we ain't like our grandparents. I see, I know y'all punks, y'all soft. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, you're not doing, you know, you're doing tight buys on the internet. That's different from actual community organizing. That's different from getting out in the bricks, getting in the barrios, and getting an understanding of what's going on from the people. Because oftentimes you have folks trying to tell the people what they need when the people know best what they need because they're in the conditions. You come and make an assessment as if you're some, you know, god of poverty and oppression, and say, okay, well, since I got this terminology down packed, then, you know, let me tell you what you need. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. And
But
if I may add on to that, oh my bad, I didn't mean to cut
no,
you
go ahead,
off.
brother. Go ahead.
So if I may add on to that, even with that, a concept that we came up with, and Mapinduzi out here is like just the concept of Rune Nation. And really that's just, you know, a short version, a derivative of Maroons. You feel what I'm saying? Those Africans who, you know, escaped enslavement, and not only did they escape, but they fought back. So just understanding that we've always had that innate nature to resist and combat that, and like, you know, understanding like for us, we would never say we ain't like our ancestors, because like our ancestors paid the ultimate price. Like people just be dissing a lot of our freedom fighters and things of that nature, but like they was really out there sending the blitz if they needed to, and that's really the education and knowledge that's needed. That's why this film festival for our freedom fighters was so important, and that's why we did it in one of the major hoods we organized in, which is West Greenville, where there's a substation with the police. There's a substation there, so we, you know, just being able to connect the two and understand that that's an occupational force, and we as Africans, we as young Maroons, as Roons as we call it for short, we have the obligation and duty to resist that, like our ancestors did. We got to carry that fight forward. You feel what I'm saying? Because like none of these systems are legitimate at all. Like they ain't nothing but just agents of oppression, tools of imperialism and domestic colonialism. So yeah, we really head strong about that for real. So we definitely appreciate y'all, and we appreciated this opportunity to work with other comrades from around, so we could, you know, for one, like, so we can show them North Carolina not playing around. You know, they kind of like the North Carolina, they kind of like the distance, but we own that for real.
Hey man, go on with that, man. We know North Carolina ain't playing. We know Robert Williams and the crew. Stop playing, man.
You already know out there in Monroe 4 times. You already know how that is.
Yeah, and shout out to the comrades out there in Durham. My brother Cimarron out there been doing work for decades. All the good folks in Raleigh and Charlotte, and you know the whole nine. So yeah, we won't set trip over here. Africa's in the house. We want to go to Naeem real quick. Naeem, I know Naeem been a hard working behind the scenes brother. Naeem, between Naeem and Baba Bilal, I got like 862 calls yesterday. But you've been putting in work behind the scene, working on that technical side, and being patient, you know. So I want to thank you, but tell us, brother, where you at, and what was your experience like being another young soldier out here? What was your experience like working with the Freedom Fighters Film Festival?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praises are due to Allah, the Lord of all realities. I seek refuge in Allah from being a punk. And after all, if you're a punk, then you have a heavy tax that you must pay.
You know what I mean?
And this film festival was interesting. I had hoped it would come in November, as it was originally scheduled, but they had to be rescheduled. It was an opportunity, I think, for Arcadia to show or for Arcadia to represent some of its problems on a national level. I hope that when our recording goes out, that is accomplished. It is also I also saw it as an opportunity for the Muslims who were conscious enough to collectively repent from their lack of outreach and lack of involvement in the community. And it was also an opportunity to show, because I personally am not the best speaker. And when I speak, I'm certain other people hear me speaking in Greek. So many times it feels like we must play charades. So this event was a divine send opportunity for a grand charade, in the sense that we could use it to, maybe charade is a bad word for it, I apologize, but we could use it as an opportunity to show what we're about. And that is what happened for those that needed to know what we were about. They have discovered what we were about. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I hope I answered your question.
You did a great job, brother. You know, so I definitely appreciate your assistance and also for officially serving folks with the punk tax. You know, so we got that in order, and that's important for you to say, because and I know, and we're partially joking for the folks that's looking, but I think that two things that people make a mistake on: they make the mistake of thinking that if you're righteous you have to be soft, or if you're a revolutionary you have to be righteous. Not all revolutionaries are righteous, so sometimes we have to be clear about that. But that doesn't apply to this panel right here. I'm just stating the facts, because folks get confused and they look at one particular individual and they want to throw away the entire package, because they have an excuse now to say, well, I saw this brother, he was Muslim, but he was over here doing such and such. Or I saw this sister, she was dressed like this. But you understand what I'm saying? So we don't ever want to get things confused. We have Munir Abdul Hakim, who's also putting that work in. I know you have to run. Let me get to you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Kalanji, and thank you for all of your work. And I'd like to thank everyone else that I got to work with this week from around the country for all of the efforts that they put in. And I love when brothers speak the truth. And also I'm going to start by saying Bismillah, in the name of God, the Creator, because as Muslims, we do everything. We try to do everything in the name of God, best efforts. But I really appreciate you, Naeem, for saying, man, Allah saved me from being a punk, because you don't hear people say things like that every day. And we do have a prayer, as you know, in Islam, where we ask Allah to save us from being cowards. You know, and it's also a saying in the Quran that oppression is worse than slaughter. I had to contemplate on that thought for years before I really fully started to understand it, that oppression, being oppressed, is worse than being killed. And when you look at the what the people in our film festival, Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer, you know, it hurt me to my heart when that sister said that white men were supposed to be supposedly protecting our society, beat her up and left her with lifelong injuries while she was incarcerated. You know, that reminds me that that's why we're fighting. You know, that's why we are in the struggle. And I have a saying I always say, that if you're fighting, you're winning. And that's even more true now today than in the past, because look how many people in our community are not involved in the struggle. I came up in Harlem as a kid during the civil rights movement. So I saw Malcolm X once when I was a kid. You know, I seen Elijah Muhammad at the mosque on 16th Street. You know, I remember Martin Luther King out there giving his speeches and organizing people around the country. We have to continue that movement. One thing that I got out of watching the film festival was that the people that came before us were not punks. They were very brave. The oppression that they were under, like Brother Ascari said, in the South, and throughout the whole country. It's not like it is now. I tell people that all the time. That y'all look at things the way they are now, and you think that it always was like this. It was not always like this. When I was a kid, there was a lot more racism and oppression and violence. So the fact that we were able to come together and share some political education about our past leaders, which I know because I'm 64 and I grew up in the civil rights movement, but a lot of young people have never seen any videos on Fannie Lou Hamer or Ella Baker or Malcolm X. Everybody knows Malcolm X's name, which is amazing because his legacy is carrying on 50 years later. But also 50 years later, we're still going through the same oppressions that he and Martin Luther King were talking about, Ella Baker were talking about back in the 60s. So, this is all part of an effort to educate our community, and hopefully more people will get involved as we do more work like this. And I just want to thank everyone. It was a joy working with y'all and working with Black Power Media. So thank you.
No doubt, we appreciate that feedback, Munir. Know you have to run. Definitely appreciate the work and the effort and the energy that you brought to the project as a whole. So keep on keeping on, as they say, and we'll catch you in a few ticks, brother. Next up, we have Imam Ali Baba, who's been waiting so patiently, and I heard he brings thunder and lightning. How's everything going out?
Assalamu alaikum. Taib, everything is okay, alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir.
Bismillah wa alhamdulillah wa assalatu wa assalamu ala rasulullah. Thank you for having me on. I want to thank Allah for guiding us to the IJAM movement. I'm presently in Baltimore, and any brothers and sisters in Baltimore that happen to see this, please give me a call so we can start IJAM here in Baltimore. My number is 239-258-8933. I live in Arcadia with Arcadia, Florida. And like Brother Naeem, I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for sending him to assist us in Arcadia. Arcadia. May Allah help Arcadia. There's a lot of situations in Arcadia, and now I see why I was sent to Arcadia, because I didn't know anything about Arcadia. So this Freedom Fighter program is going to help us in Arcadia. Arcadia, to me, is tribal, and tribal in the sense that if you weren't born there, you're not part of them. Well, Arcadia, I'm there, and before I got to Arcadia, I conferred with my wife, Noor, and my mother was living with me, and we packed up and moved to Arcadia. After we been in Arcadia, my mother transitioned from Arcadia. So Arcadia, I have now a history in Arcadia. So your discrimination needs to cease. We have been trying to have programs and talk to the people in Arcadia, but their minds are closed. I've met a lot of good people in Arcadia that's burnt out, or they older than me, and they just retired. They just is not putting any more efforts in the community. So hopefully we can get things going in Arcadia. for me, when I get back to Arcadia, I think the power to be already sent a message to the African descent in Arcadia, whether they realize it or not. There was a African descent brother, minister, Dr. Dixon, that served on the city council of Arcadia. And he was, I guess you can say, a little a disruptor. Good, bad, ugly, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is he shook up the power to be there. So they just had an election this November, and there are no longer any African descent on the city council of Arcadia. They have sent the brothers and sisters there a message. Now, whether they're going to heed to the message and understand and wake up, stop saying what you can't do. I talk to the people in the street, and as always, well, they're not going to let you do this. They're not going to let you do this. You know, it's up to you what you want to do. But first of all, if you don't know your purpose in life, and we had the 5th day, which was yesterday, Nia, we've got to understand what our purpose is in life. And once we understand our purpose, then we know what we need to do. Now, they keep telling me what can't be done in Arcadia. Well,
not to interrupt you, but what are some of the issues in Arcadia? Because I see that you're saying what can't be done. What are some of the situations that's prevalent out there right now?
Housing, the neighborhoods, activities, you know, for the youth. A group did start called Building a Village. So, you know, young men started that group, but we need to work together. You know, you can't discard your elders because you feel that your elders dropped the ball. You know, we still got to work together so we can make improvements in Arcadia. So I already talked to Reverend Savage while I've been gone, and when I get back, we're going to start meeting to see and plan and strategize what we're going to do in Arcadia to make it better. Some of the things when they say you can't do things, I've been to the city council, I've been to the county commissioners to have them to recognize in Florida, May 20th is Emancipation Day. So I had them recognized by proclamation May 20th as Emancipation Day. I had them to recognize both the city and the county Juneteenth. And what I'm saying is, you know, nobody even thought about this, you know, because it's not possible. It's not going to happen. You know, it has happened, you know. Well, what are we going to do? We don't even know about Juneteenth. We don't even know about Emancipation Day. We don't know about the freedom fighters. We don't know about the political prisoners. It's so much they don't know and choose not to know. So we need help in Arcadia.
For folks that play crackers advocate, right? We're looking at you talked about the proclamations, right? What do you look to seek to get out of these proclamations? Because you know there's some folks that would argue that look, we don't need to go to we don't need to be recognized by the state. What is the strategy about when it comes to?
I agree 100%. We don't need them to recognize us. And there's a lot of things that I do talk about when you with me. But these are for the Negro-minded people. You know, the Negro-minded people need to be validated by the power to be to do things. And once they validate it, then they want to participate. Give you an example. I've been telling them about Juneteenth for years, and when the system decide to make it a legal holiday, now they want to practice it. Now they jumping up and down and giving speeches about Juneteenth, you know. But before then, it wasn't possible. So we got to get out of that that mindset, that mental slavery mindset that we're in.
Right.
And we need to stand up on our own feet. This is why, even with the Kwanzaa, I'm not into a lot of the things that they do, but the 7 principles is really a guide, a help. And this is what I try to highlight.
Right on. Yeah, I noticed you said the 7 principles. That's definitely something that can be taken away from it. I see your Vice President Kamala said it's okay now. Her and Doug, they said it's all right.
Hey.
They said it's cool. She said she used to practice when she was a kid. You know, you sit on the floor and all kinds of other stuff. So I guess it's cool now. You went from Karanga to Kamala. I don't know which way to go, but anyway, don't mind me, good people. We appreciate you definitely coming on. I want to see if we can get Baba Bilal on. Baba Bilal. And he's still frozen over there on that side. But we definitely appreciate it. We're gonna have some spiritual enlightenment and edutainment coming up very shortly. We have a surprise that'll be joining us soon. According to Trent. Now that if it don't go through, we'll blame Trent. But I want to bring some of the other folks back on. We have of course Diane and my third cousin removed over here who helped me change my tire the other day. I want to give him some credit for some work he did, Brother Lakeem. He did he helped me with my tire in exchange for me participating in this film festival. So we want to thank Lakeem for that. Where do we go from here? Like, we're hearing great things in regards to the film festival. I think that Mama Shafia, I think you would agree that, if nothing else, the overall statement that we've received has been that it's been an educational and an inspirational piece. So I think that's one of the things I think that Che Guevara was talking about when he was talking about the role of the propagandist being as important as the role of the guerrilla. And sometimes folks are like, well, y'all showing movies and is this going on, whatever, so on and so forth. What would you say to that in regards to folks who are so narrow in their thinking? Shafi.
Well, I would say that just based on the feedback that everybody has given, is that it's opened a pathway for folks who got a certain amount of skills of building relationships with the very communities that we say that we are part of, and recognizing that the people have their analysis about what their issues are, and so now our task is to help folks build their organization, help the communities build the organizations, and identify the issues that they wish to teach each other, teach us around, and organize around. Starting from where they are, and put these tools, the films, the Black Power media, the organizations, put them into tools, make them be the tools of the community in fighting back and identifying who is their enemy, what are their demands, and what are they prepared to do, and help be the backbone for a community. So it's a beginning. We can always use films as bringing in broader education, and we have to continue to do that. Everyone talked about how it opened their minds, and using it as a tool. And I think that's where we want to continue to do that, as well as building relationships between the different organizations. Um, New Orleans is dealing with police stuff, mass incarceration. So is Greenville. Birmingham has environmental justice issues, and so does Spartanburg, South Carolina. And so, how can we help each other? How can we help identify, who to talk to, how to put demands together, how to organize ourselves? And so, propaganda helps to do that. Films help to do that. And so, I think that those are some of the next steps. And of course, using that to show that this is what our freedom fighters who are behind the walls, this is what they were doing when they were arrested. Fred Hampton was building coalitions about fighting for housing for the people in Chicago. Other brothers and sisters were doing tenant organizing. There were folks who were doing work around water quality. Fannie Lou Hamer talked about that. And so those are some of the things that, even though they don't seem revolutionary, those are the things that are also on people's minds as well. And when we show folks what that connection is with our freedom fighters and our political prisoners, then we start broadening out also the support for political prisoners and the rest of our freedom fighters and building organizations.
No doubt. You're checking out Black Power Media. If it's your first time stopping through, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Like this video so that we can get those algorithms running and folks know that it exists. Also, join an organization. That's the most important part. I think that with organizational discipline and being a part of the right organization can put you on the right side of history. I know that oftentimes folks want to, start something new. I got my own organization. There's just 2 people in it. Or I got my own organization and you the only one know about it. It's 2023 and it's time out for the ego and the cult of personality. Part of the reason that I was willing to get involved in even hosting or participating on our platform was because of one of my leaders, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly known as H. Rap Brown. So I feel it's our duty when we talk about freedom fighters and folks talk about the North and the South, and I agree. I'm originally from Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is part of the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and I'm 45 minutes outside of the Bronx, Harlem, wherever. And being here in the South, in Georgia, there's a difference in organizing. But even going to places like Mississippi and Alabama, it's different from organizing in places like Atlanta. Now, they have their little hubs and their holes in the wall. Don't get it twisted. They will remind you that you ain't in Atlanta, you're in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They will, remind you of why they were in the top 2 when it came to slavery. So we want to, keep that in mind. So salute to all the freedom fighters who work on our behalf throughout the South and throughout the diaspora. Definitely, thank you, Diane. I want to shout out some of the other organizers who were involved in making this thing happen. WRFG 89.3 FM, which is a station that has supported our work, as far as the FTP movement for decades since we've been here. There's not too many shows on that station that I haven't been on. where we haven't had the opportunity to push our work. In fact, shout out to Mama and Jerry, who's an ancestor. I can recall being on her show one time, and Dr. Matulu Shakur called in. That's when he was locked up in Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. And one of the things he said, because we were talking about the Feed the People program, he said we were hunted because of things that that folks like Kalonji and FTP was doing. And that blew my mind, because first of all, man, you know, you got political prisoners calling into the station, number one. But number two, the fact that folks like Dr. Matulu Shakur kept their finger on the pulse of the street. They knew what was going on, not just inside of the camps, but outside the camps as well. So, you know, definitely salute to him. Of course, we know he's home, but also Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly H-Rap Brown. I would ask, and again, you know, the organization's More Science Temple number 33 as well, as Workers' World Party, Community Movement Builders, FTP, Black Alliance for Peace, etc., Black Workers for Justice, Muslim for Social Justice, African Holistic Health Association, Acupuncture Detox Collective, and a whole bunch more. They sending me names in the chat. It's like 8,000 names. I feel like I'm shouting out the UN, but everybody and anybody that had anything to do with what it is we're doing. I would like, since, you know, we've been trying to get Bob Bilal on deck to speak on what was what, I'm going to ask Lakeem. I was looking at his name on the piece. Lakeem, if you don't mind, for folks who are unfamiliar with Imam Jamil, excuse me, not even unfamiliar with him, can you give us an update on Imam Jamil Al-Amin? And right after you finish, we have a strong sister I've been knowing for decades. I'm going to try to get on the phone since 1938. I ain't going to talk about her, but she'll be coming joining us in a minute. So, Reverend Lakeem, can you give us an update on Imam Jamil?
Amen, brother. Amen. So, you know, just to comment, you know, I shaved my grays off, the grays I got, you know, messing around with you in that tire the other day. But shouts out to you, man, and all the work that you do, state to state. You know, you be at it, man. That's you beat the wheels off the car, man.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I'm grateful to be here with you. So, Imam Jamil, right now, with his case, what we're dealing with is, you know, there's recent transpirations, a lot of things like that have like legal implications that you know some don't want to talk about, but it's inspiring to people. And let's just say that, like, you know, right now the Fulton County Conviction Integrity Unit is very active in this case. They've made some strides and done some interviews and things recently that show a lot of progress with his case and with gathering evidence, you know, not to mention the 40,000 pages of information that they already got from discovery of government surveillance on him. While we talk about, we got that whole list there. We didn't put the COINTELPRO Full Disclosure Coalition on that list, who is a co-sponsor of this event. But Imam Jamil, his health is well. You know, he's been through a lot of ups and downs and trials with his health right now. You know, he's stable. But he's 79, y'all. He's 79 years old. And he needs to be out of there. And you know, his legal team is working diligently. The Students for Imam Jamil are working diligently. Imam Jamil Action Network, we're working diligently and doing our best to coordinate and like be actively engaged in people's faces and in the state's face about this case, while not you know, stepping on the toes or stumbling over the legal team and stuff like that. You know, these are some of the things that are going on you know, right now. You know, there's you know, when I look at like the time that we're in, the energy that's around, you know, in June, they denied, you know, Dr. Matulu parole, and then a week later let Sundiata Acoli out. Just in this past month, you know, we've had the amicus briefs and things go on, and the judge called on the release of all this information in Mumia's case right after Dr. Matulu got out. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and knowing what's going on with Imam Jamil's case, this is a very like good time for like things to get exposed, and for things to come out. We still haven't gotten, we got Black Power Media to talk about Imam Jamil, and Black Power Media talk about Imam Jamil every day, but CNN won't say anything still. 60 Minutes still won't say anything, and we've demonstrated in front of the CNN building. We've had them send reps out, bogus reps, to say, oh yeah, we're going to run something that haven't run nothing. And that has not only happened here, but in multiple other cities, they've been told, oh, we're going to run an article, we're going to do something. CNN is going to do something on this and televise the confession or the case or say something, months later, and we still don't see anything. And so, right now, what we're doing is encouraging people, if you got contacts at these institutions, 60 Minutes, CNN, or any of the mainstream, media mind manipulating monster machine that's out there, if you got connections with them, let us know. Get in touch with us. Go to the website and send an email or 833-999 IJAN. I think that's 45 I forget the numbers, but IJAN, look it up.
That's it. 1-833-999 IJAN. IJAN.
Yeah, I'm just remember. I think it's 4 5 2
Sabi just told
526, something like that.
That's why you and Trent aren't on the numbers committee. Y'all ain't gonna remember the numbers too well.
No,
but
you wouldn't know I used to teach math, right? But
you taught math.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With that in mind, we're gonna go to a quick break and bring on some spiritual enlightenment, some edutainment, and we're gonna come back with you all in a few ticks. Stick around. You're checking out Black Power Media, and it's important when we say Black Power Media, because some folks like, oh, Black Power Media sounds kind of hard, and some people don't want to come on the platform. If it ain't Black Power, then what is it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we ain't got time for all the nonsense. It's gonna stay Black Power Media as long as I'm around here, and I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, we'll be right back at you. BPM in the building. What's happening? We back again. It's Black Power Media on your. This is the first day of the year, according to the Gregorian calendar, right? So we're gonna make it do what it do. It's a revolutionary day, of course. Again, shout out to all the freedom fighters from the Haitian Revolution. Shout out to all the freedom fighters from the Cuban Revolution. Also on this day, I remember one of my comrades and homies up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, who was assassinated by the police in 1995 on this day, actually 11/57 New Year's Eve 1995. So we remember him. She was of 1996, and we also remember that this is also the commemoration of the cold-blooded murder of Oscar Grant out in Fruitville Station in Oakland, California. With that in mind, we've had a whole lot of great people on here today, and we're going to continue to do what we do because that's what we're supposed to do. But I was like, man, these cats be talking so damn much. We need somebody to bring some healing words. I'm just messing y'all. I love y'all. But we have our sister join us today. She's no stranger to our platform. We call her the official People's Poet Laureate, and she goes by the name of Sonny Patterson. What's happening, Sonny? How you feeling?
Oh, there we go. Hey, family. How you feeling? New Year, according to the calendar.
You know what it is. You know what it is. You looking sharp back there. How's everything going?
Listen, it has been, how can I, fantastic. Why has it been fantastic? It's been these days, you know, we move so much. So I took advantage of rest days. So that's something that I'm grateful to kind of bring this year in with rest, you know, on
That's good.
purpose. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely a good way to start. Definitely a good way to start. So we know that you're on so many fronts. You know, they call you for anything. If it's a hole in the ozone, call Sonny. If somebody lost their cat, it's in the tree, call Sonny.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You know, so if somebody flying saucer didn't make it, call Sonny. Anyway, I'm definitely happy to see you. I understand you have some you wanted to share some word sound power, some spiritual substance.
You know, family, we call it voluntold. You know, family me what I was gonna do. So, you know, I you know, I fall in. But no, seriously, you know, on a day like this, what so many in the collective consciousness, right, deems as Imani, and faith and everything, and then just to again open up this calendar year, right, with something like this, where we are affirming, we are informing, we are confirming, just what it means to be self-aware and what it means to be aware of our brothers and sisters and our elders that are still, you know, behind bars and everything that comes with that, and just having the reminder of camaraderie and having the reminder of what it means to be in the struggle and be in the fight, again, on purpose, like a real on purpose kind of movement, on purpose kind of faith, the on purpose kind of activism. So I'm inspired by that. You know, I'm inspired by what it is that I'm seeing and hearing, and what it is that we're part of, what it is that you are continuing to hold up and create, and the organization and everything else. So, you know, give thanks for that, and give thanks that we can be empowered and expanded in this work as well. You know.
That part's a blessing. I think folks often they look at it as a chore or a task, but I think that you know, having the opportunity to be chosen to fight on behalf of our people, because you can either be chosen or frozen.
Chosen,
you know what I'm saying?
And I love that. No, because it really is the truth, and the reality is that it can become a task.
Indeed.
It can become a task. It can become a barrier. It can become a burden. It can become a real yoke if we are not careful. So when I'm saying, you know, really being careful, I'm really saying, you know, saying this from the sense of what we are reminded of, yes, on this day, but then even what I'm saying spiritually comes up for this 2023 year, and you know, the energy and collective consciousness of the year, which is something that still brings in this aspect of faith, and really answering that question intentionally: where does my faith lie? You know, like, what really do I have faith in? What really is faith to me? What does that look like? Am I still, you know, bound by this antiquated, oppressive view of faith? You know, or has my faith expanded? Has my knowledge in myself expanded? Has my faith within my community expanded? Has my faith within, you know, my family, within myself, everything else that comes up? So, you know, these are important times, because, you know, it truly is incumbent upon but how we survive.
Right. That's very important what you're saying, because there's so many folks that when you talk about faith and spirituality, you would think that by now they wouldn't confuse that with religion. You know what I'm saying?
Quite.
You know, but that's like whatever. You know, real quick, and because I know it looked like you at Carnegie Hall somewhere about to perform. So we ain't gonna hold you too long, but for how necessary, since you mentioned that word faith, how necessary is faith for our victory coming into this 2023?
You know, that's the power within that is something so magnificent that if we do not have it, we will fail automatically.
Absolutely.
You automatically fail. So this aspect of faith, because it is this, this belief in some aspects, right? They would say, oh, it's a blind faith because it's something that you're believing in that's unseen, right? But the reality is that anybody, our brother Ross Kofi, right out there in Atlanta too, we talk about this often, just this aspect of being a gardener.
Right.
I mean, when you're planting a seed, you don't see the seed, right?
That's right.
So the wonder of it is that I, as the gardener, I have to have faith that I'm doing what is necessary, that, all of the elements that's involved are all aiding in the development of what is within the seed, right? So I'm having some faith in this rooting process so that I can see something in the fruiting process, right? In of the thing. So it's the same with us. When it comes down to what it is that we have to do, if I do not have faith within myself, if I do not have faith within my ancestors who are moving around me, if I do not have faith in all of these other benevolent energies and spirits, we call on them all the time. We say this, right? We say, we want to give thanks for all of our Haitian ancestors and everything. When it comes down to revolution, do we think that we're just calling this and saying this just so that we can remember?
Right. Right.
No, this is something where we really are remembering in the real sense of the word, putting things back together again, putting ourselves back together. What does this mean to restore ourselves? So and the best way that we can do that, one is by way of faith, another is by way of imagination. Now, these are things that people deem as childish acts. But the reality is that if I can't see it before it happened, 10 times out of 10, the thing ain't gonna happen.
That's right. That's right.
So this is about how, again, do we build up this intuition as a people? I mean, sincerely, and where we're really putting this into place, not on some trendy kind of, oh yes, we do. I light 10 candles on
right.
Too, and something opens up on Thursday. No, this is how I see myself as candle, right? I see myself as being able to light up my brother and my sister so that we can further in this I don't even want to just keep saying in this struggle, but so that we can further in this victory together.
That's right. In the movement.
Yeah. Right. And again, the real sense of what these things mean for us to move into our highest destiny in the best and highest and most appropriate way, right? So that we are not just dying unnecessary deaths along the way, right? But something that is allowing us to see ourselves as whole and holy and beautiful and good and God and everything that comes with it. And the fact that I can look at my brother and sister and see the same.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, hey, you mentioned candles and for lighting the mic up. You know what I'm saying? You turn Mike into Tyson and bite a cat in the ear. So let's what you got with us today? What you got for us?
I literally, while you were I was listening to you talk, I just kind of went through the book and just right there, and then kind of looked down and was like, oh, okay, that one, that'll work.
That works.
Covered up. So when they read of this moment, they will see how we endured, and they will wonder how we made it, how we could live through such a time and still smile and create and celebrate, even though walls of panic and loss continue to build up around us, or they will shake their heads in astonishment. They will question how we survive without hugs and community gatherings. They will drum up every conspiracy theory, and most of them will be correct. They will feel the anger of the era, the frustration of the season. They will pick apart the science and discover to their surprise, well, there was so much more hidden. This virus was a disguise. They will tremble at the revelation, and tears will come to their eyes, for they will see the essence of being in the living and those who died, or when they read, they will see how this time provided a shift in foundation and frequency, how it challenged outdated systems and let go of antiquated beliefs, how we were forced to grow our courage and practice care in the midst of grief, or when they research about these days, from the uprisings to the downfalls, they will unravel the knots, they will connect the dots, and they too will heed the call. With dignity and integrity, ancestral wisdom and pride, where creativity and imagination move head and heart into alignment, and they will know because they will feel the power and presence of devotion and will, of culture, of spirit, of justice, of light, of oneness, of harmony, of divinity and insight. Or when they read of this moment, they will see how we endured, and they will still question how we made it. And we will say, well, how could we not?
Right on, right on. Hey, as always, you bring it like it's supposed to be. If I was one of them cats in the what they used to do in the spoken word spot, snapping their fingers and whatnot, I can't just do it like that. But anyway, I definitely, on behalf of Imam Jamil, on behalf of all our freedom fighters, on behalf of FTP, BPM, and all the letters, we appreciate you adding inspiration to what it is we're doing. And I want to co-sign for you real quick, not that you need it, but I want to say that Sonny's not just an artist, because sometimes folks get it confused and they think that, oh, those are some nice sounding words.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We all have our responsibility. Sometimes folks say they're revolutionary farmers or they're revolutionary authors or revolutionary that. Either you're a revolutionary or you're not. It's not, it's no, as our brother Balagoon talks about, there's no such thing as a revolutionary chef. Either you're a revolutionary that happens to be a chef or not.
That's right.
I say that, your work is definitely revolutionary, the work you do, and, your family's work. Congratulations on your anniversary. I just saw that. I would say something slick, but since you are here, I say that for Trent. But definitely appreciate what you're doing, though.
Oh, give thanks, brother. We just mirrors out here in the world. That's all.
We got it, and we're gonna win in spite of ourselves. Love you, sis. Stay on top, and
brother.
I'm gonna call you like 8 times in a row until I get you on the phone.
Done. All right.
Be safe. Yes. This was Sonny Patterson. We are live, Black Power Media. We're gonna bring our panelists back on. I think that was a wonderful thing to get a little bit of inspiration going while we're doing what we're doing here. What's happening, IGN? Everybody good? You still with us?
Still here.
Okay, right on. What y'all think about that piece?
I can snap my fingers, but
you can snap your fingers.
I can snap my fingers. Yeah. But yeah, beautiful. I was when you said she was going to be on, I was like, oh yes, I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait because I've only heard her like once or twice, and so more and more thanks for adding her on, and more thanks to her for adding on to the cipher. I appreciate it. Beautiful.
Right on. And I often talk about and shout out to Baba Bilal and Ia Fulani. I know it's their anniversary today as well. And I know a few days ago, Trent and Sonny celebrated their anniversary. Sonny's one of the reasons why I continue to deal with Trent is hard, but we working with him.
Whatever. That's not true. It's the other way around, actually.
That's what it is. But anyway, before we wrap up, I wanna get some closing words from everyone, and words of encouragement and inspiration, and affirmations for those freedom fighters who are coming after us, and those who are brothers and sisters who are behind the wall right now in these gulags, not only in North America but across the whole planet. I want to give them some thanks and some inspiration, and definitely shout out to today would have been Dr. John Henrik Clark's born date as well. So we remember him also. So yeah, any words of encouragement? We want to start with Mama Shafia, and we go from there.
3 things come to mind. Number 1, Imam Jamil said, use his name to help further worship and further struggle. And this is what we've tried to do with Freedom Fighter Film Festival, is to deepen and broaden and strengthen the struggle, heighten it. Number 2, there is I believe it's a hadith in Quran, hadith, excuse me, in Islam that we stand by, and that is that Muslims are commanded to stand for justice and against oppression. And if you cannot stand against oppression and for justice, then you must speak for justice and against oppression. And if you cannot do that, then you must at least hate it in your heart. And Imam Jamil always adds, and why would you want to be known for having the weakest of all?
I mean,
And then the last thing, just as a reminder, which is not well, along with all of that, is that our people are our mountain. That's something that came from Mama Cabral. Our people are our mountains. And when you put all those three things together, I think that we have a winning program and we will stand together. Imam Jamil Action Network stands for freeing Imam Jamil, freeing all political prisoners, and standing against oppression. 1-833-999-IJAM.
I know. Definitely appreciate your work. And I guess we'll go clockwise. Closing words. We can go from Lakeem to Diane, Trent, Alibaba, and Brother Naeem.
Yes. So, we talking inspiration and going forward. The thing that comes to mind most immediately is dare to struggle, dare to win. We're here. We talked about this Freedom Fighters Film Festival. When I think of Fannie Lou Hamer, when I think of Imam Jamil, Ella Baker, I think bold, I think courageous. Those are the attributes that we want to carry forward. Those are the things that we want to move forward with in our work. And I listen to the sister, Sonny Patterson, and it makes me think of creativity. How can we be creative to move this thing forward? How can we be creative to create the world that we want to see? That's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might sound lofty or different, but that's what we are as revolutionaries. We're trying to make the world, be the way we see it, see a better world. And so, those things are what come to mind for me. And so that's what I call on myself and everyone. Let's be creative, let's be courageous, let's be dedicated, let's keep moving forward. And also always is our health. We got to take care of ourselves so that we can do this work, and we need to rely on each other for that. And we have Revolutionary Healing Arts that's here just for us, just for this, and so many other things connected to it. So using everything we got to get what we want. We the term by any means necessary means a lot of things. It means any means, you know what I mean? Any means. And so let's not narrow our minds and be limited in that, and use everything that we can to move things forward. And so freeimamjamil.com, imamjamilactionnetwork.org, freekamal.com, matulushakur.com, jerichomovement.com, freeleonardpeltier.com. Do get it, plug in, like the brother said, join the organization, and let's go. Let's do it. Let's keep at it until we see it the way we want it to be. I yield.
Right on, sir. Appreciate that. Diane, what you got for us?
Well, I think it's easy to see from this discussion with these particular comrades why I have been able to be in the struggle for over 50 years, because every moment with every one of the people that are on this particular program and in all the organizations and movements and that I've been engaged in, this continually inspires me and makes me confident that we will win. And I just want to end with free them all.
Free them all. Free them all.
Free them all.
Over 50 years, Diane. That's
yes,
all right.
It's over 50 years. Yes, it is. And as I said, it's every day you meet someone else that, like with just Sonny's poetry just a minute ago, that makes you so in awe of the revolutionary human spirit.
That's right.
You know, that all these things that impact not just our lives in the United States, but around the world are so inhumane and so cruel. And yet the human spirit is so beautiful and talented. And so, yes, we will win. I don't know if I'll be here to see it, but I want you to know, everybody, that you have to participate in this to make it happen.
Right on. I want to say real quick, you know, I can always tell new organizers in Atlanta, because we'll be somewhere and they'll be like, who's that white lady over there? I don't know if we could trust her. I'm like, dude, you just got here 5 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? Yelling and jumping up and down. Same person, usually the one that's asking me, they might be at 2-3 more rallies. They got their pictures and we never see them again. So, you know, so I appreciate, like I said, Diane's work, period. And it's not just on any particular front. If oppression is going down, you can catch it there. I mean, I was at one protest. I'm like, damn, Diane, how you know about this? Oh, yeah, you know, I'm just joking. But anyway, we're going to go to Trent real quick. Trent, what you got for us, brother?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think first and foremost, whoever's listening, whoever's on this show, and the viewers, it's prudent. It's very important that you involve yourselves with and like-minded organizations, and you know, and prepare yourselves for what is to come. And listen, you have to be ready so you don't have to get ready. Thank you all. All power to the people, and look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother, and
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you, you know, being consistent with your work. Alibaba.
Yes.
Imam
All I
Alibaba.
want to say is that let's keep uniting and working together. Let's not find reasons to divide and impede the progress. Let us work towards freeing the minds of our people, freeing the political prisoners, and freeing the land. Thank you.
Right on. Appreciate you. Brother Scary.
And first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody in Black Power Media, all the other organizations that was a part of this, for having my Panduzi on. And we want to say long live the revolution. Shout out Zapatista. Shout out the Cuban Revolution, Haiti, and even Sudan as well. You feel me, on this day, especially. Yeah, we just want to say keep on fighting, keep driving, free all our freedom fighters, and get out there in them trenches and work with the people, the ones who the state shuns, the ones who the state super exploits and oppresses. Them the ones who we need to be really reaching, getting in them trenches, you know, keep fighting for real. And that's the whole mission. You know, we won't stop till the people free. That's the whole goal. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole premise of this, for real. So everybody keep your heads up, stay in your 10, you know, talk to the comrades, and let's keep this thing moving for real.
Right on, right on. Definitely appreciate your work, brother Naeem, one of the hardest working men in iJam right now. What's happening with you? What we got? He's been a tech guy this whole time. Now all of a sudden he trying to act like he don't know to unmute himself. You good, brother? Okay. Let me see. Alaikum salam. What's happening, brother?
Alaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Allah, the Creator, is on the side of the oppressed, but only if the oppressed work to get Allah on their side. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. That He will not change the state of the people until they change that which is within themselves. So that entails work on the individual level and a collective level. And on the individual level, it's very important that you recognize the ultimate purpose. You might have many functions that you will have in life, but the ultimate purpose is to worship Allah, the Creator, and that it means that you must work on recognizing Him, and that would entail a change within yourself, and then believing in the program that He sent down to humanity that would help you in moving your condition from one state to another. When Musa came to Bani Israel, who were under Pharaoh for 400 years, he told them, وَاجْعَلُوا بُيُوتَكُمْ قِبْلَةً وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ, that make your houses into places of worship and establish prayer. Now, and when we look at Bani Israel, we see, one of the patterns the Creator has in the world of moving oppressed peoples from a state of weakness to a state of strength. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَّمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. That we want to show, show our favor upon those whom are oppressed in the land, and make them leaders, kings in righteousness, and make them the inheritors of the kingdom of their oppressors. And the Prophet was asked, what is righteousness? And righteousness, he replied that it is the consciousness of Allah, the fear of Allah, and good character. I end with Allah's words, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. That by the token of time, through the ages, verily man is in a continuous loss, except for those whom believe and are patient and advise in good work, except for those who believe and do good and advise in patience and advise in the truth.
I mean, definitely appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the words from you all. We have to get Baba Bilal back on. I don't know, for some reason there's been some tech issues where he was, but I think that you all did a powerful job. I salute you on the work you all put in for the film festival. For folks who are checking us out, who may not have caught it, it's available here on Black Power Media. It will be housed here on Black Power Media. Share this piece that we did here today. I think it's important to see the various faces of different organizers from different backgrounds and different ideologies, etc., all fighting for the same cause, and that's for our liberation. Also want to remind you all again, if it's your first time, come to Black Power Media. Make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube channel. You can check out our archives. We've had all types of folks on our platform. Folks talking about Kwanzaa. We've had one of the brothers brought Karanga on to talk about, the elephants in the room. So you had folks like that, the Cornel West, and all types of members of the Black Liberation Army, the Black Panther Party. We've had Mumia Abu Jamal call in numerous times from the camp. We've had Akbar Prey call in from prison. Numerous folks throughout the diaspora. Everyone from France Fanon's daughter to Lumumba's daughter, Patrice Lumumba's daughter. So we had a little bit of everybody on here. We've done so much, my brain is kind of all over the place. But again, we encourage you all to check out Black Power Media. This is, a lot of folks say if they're people station, I think that we earn the right to say that we are definitely a people station. Tomorrow, check us out. We have a new show that'll be popping off tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., which will be co-hosted by Dr. Jared Ball and myself and others. It's called Guerrilla University, Guerrilla Intellectuals University. That'll be kicking off tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Tuesday through Thursdays. You can check out the Remix Morning Show here on our platform. And on this Friday, I'll actually be doing a peace in regards to Dr. Matula Shakur. At 3 p.m. on this Friday, we'll have a special guest talking about what's going on with that. And, you know, we always have surprises, so don't get it twisted. If you miss it, that's on you. And why you didn't tell us such and such that, hey, look, should have been on here. But anyway, we love and appreciate you all. Everybody have a very revolutionary new year. Stay on top of things and stay ready for revolution. And we'll get with you in the whirlwind. Black Power Media. Shout out to IJAN and all the organizations that produced this particular segment. And, you know, keep on keeping on. Free them all.
Free them all.
Free them all. Free them all. Free them all.
Yes, yes.
Free them all.